All right. Well, I think we can start. We got a good media contingent here. We got Brad Keselowski on the line. Brad, thank you for your time this afternoon. And we got a number of questions already in the queue, so we'll get right to them. And we'll start with Bob, the aforementioned Bob Hawkers. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, Brad, Roush announced their first sponsorship for you the other day. I'm curious, where do you stand? Like, are you pretty well set and just have announcements to make, or are you still searching?
We're having amazing conversations. The market's incredibly strong, in kind of the decision phase on some really great partners that are new to the sport. So I'm thrilled with where we're at. Don't have anything to announce today. Obviously, I think I would look for us to make one consolidated announcement with respect to our sponsors and our brand initiatives and team lineup all at one time after the season's over. So really excited about it. I think conceptually there's been a lot of energy around the sport on the partner side, and we're riding a wave of momentum. And it's sorry I can't give any specifics, but as a general topic, things are looking pretty good. I wouldn't say we have everything done yet by any means today, but a lot of good movement.
And looking to Talladega next week, did the new package at Daytona, would that impact how would it impact how the cars race at Talladega, if at all?
It's a good question. I think there's some thoughts that we'll see some tandem racing. I'm not totally caught up on that yet. Overall, I thought the racing was pretty good at Daytona. It was a little bit less of a crash fest for most of the race than most people thought it would be. So that's good. Ultimately, I don't expect a big difference, though.
Thank you.
No problem, Bob.
Bob, I see your hand back up. Do you have a follow-up? Pretty good.
No, I was trying to lower it.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Marty Sakala. Go ahead, Marty.
Thanks, Ford. Appreciate it. Hey, Brad, appreciate the time. So looking into this weekend, you've gotten a top 10 in 11 of the last 12 races. And I know this has been a quiet year for you in terms of wins. So I want to ask, how is that confidence level coming in, knowing this is a track you've been very good at in the past?
Yeah, Las Vegas has been incredible for us. We had a great run going there last fall and got shuffled on a restart and didn't get that top 10. But other than that, we've been a solid contender year in and year out. I think we finished second there in the spring and seem to be able to get it done there. So hoping for big things. Obviously, we need a strong performance for this round and the races in it. This is a tough round. I think we'll have a great shot at doing just that.
And as you enter your final weeks with Team Penske, what do you take away from this relationship you have had with Roger for the last 11 years? I know, obviously, you've got the Xfinity title in 2010 and the Cup title in 2012. Sure.
Well, it's been a hell of a ride. It's maybe a better race car driver and a better person. And I'm, incredibly proud of that. Incredibly proud of the things we've done, the people we've met, the experiences that have come with it. And, knowing and working with Roger Penske is, like I said, maybe a better person in a lot of ways. And a lot of the people around there are just tremendous people as well at Team Penske. And certainly going to miss working with a lot of them. And, it's bittersweet. Obviously, I'm very much looking forward to new opportunities that are in front of me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have left. But on the other side, just really proud of what we've done together, and sad to see that piece come to an end.
Appreciate it, man. Good luck to you this weekend.
All right. Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Tucker White. Go ahead, Tucker.
All right. First off, apologies if you hear my dog barking in the background there. Brad, as we've seen with the high downforce package, especially on deeper into a run, it becomes a Herculean task just to overtake the race leader. So, given that, what would you say to people who claim that the package puts less emphasis on driver skill and more on random luck?
Well, I don't know if random luck's the right word for it. but you know, there's less car control, and the racing is a little more procedural based, undoubtedly. So you know, that's, I guess there's always transitions. These cars from 10 years ago were just freaking animals. Man, were they hard to drive, and you know, a number of drivers love that. That said, you could still get a car that was faster and be less your driver and win the race. You know, no doubt about that. So I struggle to say that talent doesn't still matter. It's just the racing continues to get more and more procedural based, like I said, and that still requires some talent.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Next, we go to Michael Shelton. Go ahead, Michael.
Thank you. Well, Brad, I know that you were quoted 3 weeks ago as saying that you stopped having expectations when it comes to the playoffs because you can't really anticipate what's going to happen. There have obviously been seasons where you started out hot only to get knocked out, and then there were years where you didn't have a whole lot of confidence, but you still made the Final Four. I was just curious how you feel about your mindset after the first 3 races of the playoffs, and what's your evaluation of your team as we move into the round of 12?
Yeah, I'm proud of the results we had at Bristol. It's the best run we've had in roughly a month, which was sorely needed. We can show that kind of speed, we have the opportunity to go deep in the playoffs and have a shot at the championship. I can't answer whether that's going to be the case over the next few weeks. I don't really control enough of those cards. Most of those are car based, but I can say my pit crew is performing at a super high level. One of the strongest teams I've ever had on pit road. And if we have the speed and the execution on the driver's side to match the pit crew, we can go and win the championship. Right now, the speed's been our weakness, to be quite frank. That kind of stuff comes and goes. And that's why I hesitate to put expectations upon anything, because, obviously as a driver, I have some control over the speed quotient, but the reality is when you get to the cup level, most of the drivers are very, very close on with respect to the ability of how fast they can make a car go, on its own accord. So ultimately, we'll see what we've got.
Thank you. Good luck.
Yeah, you're welcome. Have a great day.
I got one here from Jerry Jordan. He doesn't have a mic on his computer here, so I'll read it to you. I know your focus is on 2021, but how much interaction do you have with the Roush Group on a weekly basis? And is that an interesting hat to wear since you are still racing for a championship at Penske?
Yeah, it is an interesting thing about our sport. We're one of the few sports. Somebody was telling me this the other day that cycling's this way, but we're one of the few sports where you can be contracted with another team while competing with the team you're with, which certainly is an interesting situation. You think of football, hockey, baseball, basketball. You're either with one team or you're not, right? So motorsport's certainly different in that way. Contractually, I have to honor my contract, which means non-competes and all those kind of things. So obviously I can't be in the building and doing things for next year. I hear the rumblings of the test sessions and all that kind of stuff. And certainly very curious how all that's going, but my involvement is pretty limited until the season's over.
Thank you. And now we'll go to Dustin Long. Go ahead, Dustin.
Thank you. Hey, Brad, you were talking just a moment ago just about procedural based, I guess, kind of probably talent, and talking about the cars and how they are different from 10 years ago. And I'm curious, when you talk about that, what are the different talents? What are the things that you've had to adjust to, or what does this generation have to do more of that, since they didn't race these cars 10 years ago and didn't have those experiences, that they don't have to do things?
Well, shoot, Dustin, I remember going to Martinsville my first year or two in Cup, and you'd come up off the corner and you would spin the rear tires. You'd have brand new tires and you would spin the rear tires, for 100 foot on new tires. And then at the end of the run, the whole straightaway, you would spin the rear tire. You might not even ever get flat foot. And now the last race I ran in Martinsville, I came up off the corner and just flat footed it. For 30 some laps, like I was, driving a street car or something. That's a big difference, because your ability to really feel the feedback of the car and the rear tires and really modulate the gas pedal is really an important skill that you used to have. Now you don't. That said, there are other skills that you have to have now that you didn't have to have back then. The choose lane and all those things, and knowing where to be and knowing how to fill the gaps on restarts. That was not the case back then. I mean, shoot, the whole Texas thing, debacle I had with was it Jeff Gordon there. Today, that's like every week. There's a gap, you fill it. Every restart. Where back then is like, geez, you even tried to make a move like that and everybody lost their marbles. So things have changed for sure. You could argue for the better, you could argue for the worse, but they're different. And that's life, and that's really every sport. There are parts of me that really miss, going to a track like Texas and being 10 laps in and spinning the rear tires at 185 mile an hour. That was pretty darn cool. I'm not going to lie. But there are other days I don't miss. I don't miss going to Michigan and, hauling off at 9 a.m. practice at, 220 mile an hour, thinking, man, I hope I don't blow a tire. I'm going to end up in the grandstands. So there's trade-offs to everything.
Also wanted to ask you, I know you've talked about the speed issue and maybe not being careful about having expectations with each round, but is there any way to have any hope of the speed thing will be better this weekend? I mean, is it stuff that you can look off a sim, or is it just like you're just going to have to go out there and position yourself and figure it out at that point?
Honestly, if we knew the knobs that well to be able to predict it, we would turn them every week. So I can't say honestly, no, I really don't know what I'm going to have this weekend. If we went there and we ran top 5 all week and snuck out a race win, I wouldn't be shocked. If we went to Vegas and ran 10th to 15th all week and, finished in that range, I wouldn't be shocked. I don't know what to expect with respect to our performance.
Is that how unsettling, or is that just the world we live in and you have to accept that?
I think it's part of the world we live in. There's a lot of variables we can't control, and you get in the car and figure out what you got, and then you do the most you can with it to try to put yourself in a great position. And, I'm incredibly proud of the round that we had. We didn't win a race. We didn't contend to win a race in that first round. But we went to Darlington with a 15th place car, put together a solid top 10 finish. We went to Richmond with a 15th to 20th place car, unfortunately, and put together a solid finish, got some stage points out of it, ended up 13th. And we went to Bristol with probably the best car we had. It was probably, top 5 car, and scored the 3rd most points and finished, I think, 6th. So in a lot of ways, the media and the fans look at the race winner as the guy that ran the best race. To me, I always look at the field and say, who did the best with the car they had? And I feel like we're out finishing our speed right now by a good bit. And that's, a combination of certainly the moves I'm making on the racetrack and, the moves that we make on pit road with respect to pit strategy and the pit crew themselves. So I'm really proud of that. We knocked a few guys out of the first round that, quite frankly, were considerably faster than us. So that bodes well for us. If we can put the speed with all the other pieces we have, we're a very dangerous team.
Thank you.
No problem.
Next, we'll go to Justin Schooler. Go ahead, Justin.
Hey, Brad, Justin Schuler with Kicking the Tires. I had a question more about next year. In the past, we've usually seen individual car owners be dedicated to exactly that, car owners. But now we're kind of seeing this wave of people who've been behind the wheel start taking over teams. So, Denny Hamlin, Justin Marks, Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, now you with Roush. What do you think that reason has been? Is like, an incentive, or is this just a generational wave? Or do you think that's more of just the overall direction of the sport altogether?
Yeah, I think there's a confluence of factors. The next gen car certainly had an effect. The visibility towards it, super important. I think there's other quotients that lie in there too, with respect to, like you said, generations and ways things have developed. And what we got? Denny Hamlin, myself, and who else? I guess Kyle has the truck team, but he doesn't have the cup deal. But I suspect there'll be one or two others that join and do this over the next couple of years, which is great. By the way, the charter was a big piece of this, no doubt. Probably didn't get enough credit. I hear a lot of people badmouth the charters, and honestly, there are parts I like and dislike about it. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's as a whole been good for the sport. That said, I struggle to say there's one factor. I'd say there's a confluence of factors.
Brad, that is, we'll leave you at that. Appreciate the time today, and good luck in Las Vegas.
Thanks, Ford. Appreciate it, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.